And we're back on the opening day of the session from beautiful Hartford. I'm David Smith and welcome to Meet the Leaders, and Gail Lavielle joins us. She's a representative of Wilton, Norwalk, and now of Westport because of the wonder of redistricting.
That's
so
right, David.
You get some more frequent driver miles going around to your constituents these days.
Yes, I wish I got them.
It's good
but
to
I'm
have
very,
you with us.
very happy to have Westport as well.
Well, I know you're also just recently set with education and appropriations and higher education. They have been getting a lot of focus, the education.
And I'm also ranking member of Commerce.
And Commerce as well, which of course is hopefully going to bring in lots more revenue to the state coffers along the way, we hope. But in any case, the education system is one that got a lot of revamping in the last session, and now what do you see going forward? The region situation was a little bit of a problem in the waning hours of 2012.
Well, there were a lot of unaccounted for expenses and unauthorized salary raises on the higher education side. So that's one area I'm sure that we'll address as we think about the budget. The budget, of course, is a major focus for this session because we're staring at a $2.2 billion deficit for the next 2 years. And because we have that deficit now after the largest tax increase in Connecticut's history, it's a worse situation than it was 2 years ago because then the tax avenue was being explored by the majority and agreements with the state employee unions. Now those contracts are signed. People have been taxed more than they ever dreamed they would be. They're still reeling. So finally, we're going to be looking, I hope, at what was not looked at last time, which is budget reductions, spending cuts.
Well, obviously, last go around, everybody was very optimistic that the economy was on the upswing and that they were going to see all kinds of new revenues because of that positive economy, and it just never fully materialized.
Well, a recent report from the University of Connecticut has said that, lo and behold, the recession was much worse than anyone thought, and it will take us far longer than we thought to recover. And I have always said that hope is not something to build your financial strategy on. You need to make sure that structurally you are not spending more than you take in. And that's what's been happening.
All right, so the cuts have to be made. The governor suggested it's going to be more in the way of efficiencies and cuts than it will be in any kind of taxes. Where do you see the most likely area for cuts that will damage the fewest people and the fewest positivisms going forth than what we're doing now?
Well, my honest opinion is that if we really want to do this properly and fix the structural nature of our budget, which means overhead, those state employee contracts, meaning benefits, salaries, healthcare, all those things have to come back on the table. And I hope that the governor will consider doing that. Because
how do they do that? I mean, there's not much incentive on the part of the workers to do that. I mean, they have a no-cut contract for another 2 years.
Well, that's a very near-term view of things. Because if you're talking about your own retirement and you've been told that if something serious isn't done about the fact that we don't have the money to pay for it, you won't get retirement when you do retire. So I think there is...
So the pension could be a pretty good leverage movement.
Well,
there.
I think all of it really is in jeopardy if you can't meet your obligations. Last year we found that some of the employees' contributions to their own health care plan were being taken out and put in the operating cash pool and then spent. So really, if you were benefiting from the health care plan and the retirement plan, if that were I would not feel very comfortable. So I'm hoping that will be on the table, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to talk about these things in appropriations.
Yeah, one of the other issues that, of course, the governor was focusing on principally was the gun control and assault weapons and so forth. Do you think that any kind of a meaningful bill is going to be able to be worked out? It's got to be happening very soon,
well,
otherwise people forget so swiftly.
I was actually encouraged to see that the governor had created this Sandy Hook Advisory Commission that's going to look at...
It's an apolitical body. It looks like a lot of very interested experts in the fields.
And because I think this is a very bipartisan or non-partisan consideration, it's not political.
Right.
And we don't, in the House Republican caucus, we certainly don't take caucus positions on this kind of thing. They're going to look at gun control, mental health care, and school security. And I think when they have delivered their report on March 15th, we'll probably have a very serious, comprehensive piece of legislation or pieces of legislation to look at. And I hope that'll be more constructive than some of the ad hoc proposals we're seeing right now.
Well, I hope that you will get that bipartisan support, get something accomplished, and maybe that will spur other bipartisan efforts through the rest of the session. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, David.
It is always a pleasure to have us visiting for opening day as well as kicking off a session anytime. And that's going to do it. That's all the time we've got for this go-around, unfortunately. Gail Lavielle wrapping things up for this segment. I'm David Smith with Meet the Leaders, and we will look forward to seeing you next time.